So I'm here with the funkiness himself, Ben Askren. Ben, you won the Hodge Trophy in 2006. That was your first one. If I would have came to you then as a time travel, said, "Hey, bro, you're gonna be a professional boxer," what would you have told me?
I would have said that's very far fetched. I mean, even just thinking about it now seems kind of hilarious. And I mean, it's kind of a stretch, in my opinion, to call myself a pro boxer. I mean, I guess by definition, getting paid to do something is being a professional. But when I think about my skill level at wrestling or fighting or even disc golf compared to boxing, like being a pro boxer is kind of hilarious.
Yeah, you're fighting Jake Paul. He gives off the young punk vibe, and you're giving off the whole "dad's gonna take him to town." Is that kind of what you're aiming for in the promos and stuff?
I mean, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. So, and I'm not of this generation, so I don't really know like Jake Paul. So when I heard of the name, but when I signed to fight him, now I have all my middle school kids and high school kids I coach, they're telling me like why people don't like him or what his deal is. And so it's kind of funny because, I just didn't get it. I didn't understand.
He comes off as a bit of a tool sometimes. But, I mean, I've watched his boxing matches in hindsight, and he's actually improved and stuff. So I'm interested to see because you bring something he hasn't faced yet. You've been punched in the mouth a couple times, I remember you were on Joe's podcast and you were telling him you're the least hit guy in mixed martial arts, which is true. You were because you took everybody down and wrestled them. Are you doing a lot of like tape study on Jake? I mean, there's 2 fights to watch. Are you doing that, or are you just going in there?
There's not much to. Well, the other thing is there's not much to watch. It would be like telling you to watch me and figure out how to wrestle. Well, when I go wrestle 2 people who are terrible, you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't equate. And so actually, like a lot of my kids that I coach, there's this thing that, I want to go watch my next opponent or whatever. And lots of times it's hard to gauge anything from those matches because you don't know what the other opponent brings to the table. You don't know how good he is, right? And so we know Nate Robinson and the other guy he fought were really, really terrible. So I believe it's, I don't want to say impossible, but it's an impossible to gauge like what he's really like in a fight because he's never actually been in a fight because these guys are so bad that they couldn't even put up a fight.
Yeah. Now, do you think you can beat up Nate Robinson?
Oh, God, yeah. The guy's never been in a fight in his life. Are you kidding me?
Yes, he has. He's been in 1 fight.
Okay. I mean, yeah, sure. Fair enough. I mean, yeah.
Are you going to be fighting any instincts to shoot a double?
I don't think so. It's funny. I just when I only signed the deal like 10 days ago. So my whole first week was kind of like, hey, let's just get back in shape. I met with my trainer a bunch and, hey, let me put my boxing camp together and just kind of figure out how everything's going to go. And my first boxing workout was Tuesday, and I got another one today. And then after this, it's going to be almost every single day. I'm going to do something with boxing. But it was with my old MMA coaches, and it's like, I do certain things. It's like, well, why do I do that? Oh yeah, I do that because I'm going to put my hands on him and dig an underhook, or I'm going to snap him down, right? And so it's like I have all these habits that were effective for mixed martial arts, and now it's gonna, for me, it's gonna be fun because I get to learn a new skill. I get to figure out how I'm going to translate into boxing and learn the nuances of boxing. So I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think so too. It's always fun to challenge yourself. So your corner, you mentioned, are you sticking with the old Rufus Sports, or are you bringing in some boxing guys too?
Yeah, so I'm going to work with Duke and Scott at Rufus. I don't think they're going to corner me because I believe they already have things they have to be at on that day. I'm pretty sure. So I'm bringing in an old teammate to be kind of like my everyday guy. He's going to help with them and do some sparring with me and other stuff. His name's Mike Rhodes. He fought in the UFC. Yeah. He's mainly a striker. So he's going to come in, and then I'm bringing in a few other people. Like there's this guy from actually so many guys on Twitter volunteered to help beat up Jake Paul, but there's one guy who was a boxing world champion, and I think he lives in Michigan, so it's relatively close. So I'm going to bring him in a couple weeks, and see how it goes. If we vibe, I'll probably bring him back and work with him some more. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I know I might go work with my old boxing coach a little bit in Phoenix. I really like him a lot. He worked with Roy Jones. He wasn't Roy Jones' main trainer, but he was a trainer with Roy Jones. So yeah, I got a lot of good options, and I'm just kind of tying everything together.
Yeah, so you're really taking this serious too.
Yeah,
I can tell.
why not? I mean, not that I want to be a boxer or not that I ever really want to fight again, but if I beat up Jake Paul, I'm going to have some pretty good options, whether it's wrestling Floyd Mayweather or,
I want to get to that in a second. Hold on.
I'll be able to choose whatever I want if I want to do something, or who knows, maybe I just go back to podcasting and coaching wrestling.
That's right. So Floyd Mayweather, I'm like, all right, so I messaged you last week, and I'm like, cool, I'm talking to Ben Askren. This is awesome. Yeah. And then this morning, you're like, I'm wrestling Floyd Mayweather. I'm like, wait a minute. There's no way he's going to interview with me now because he's wrestling Floyd Mayweather. What is that? Tell me about it.
Well, it was, it's a joke. And the point of the joke is Floyd Mayweather's boxing these jabronis. Now, listen, me, who doesn't have a lot of stand-up background, versus Jake Paul, you could sell that as a somewhat competitive fight, right?
Right.
But the greatest boxer of all time versus a non-athlete is not competitive. So why is Floyd putting these things out? Or he's going to fight 50 Cent. It's just so stupid. It's so dumb. So I figured I would partake, and I would say I'm going to wrestle Floyd Mayweather. I may have another funny one coming out later today. Never know. But it's just to me, it's freaking shenanigans. I don't really know why he even bothers.
How would a wrestler? I can't get it out.
I would pin Floyd Mayweather in 12 seconds tops. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Oh, I can't imagine the trash talk lead up to it. You calling him a jabroni and stuff, and him throwing money at you. That would be awesome. I would love it.
I mean, just even the notion that I would ever box Floyd Mayweather, I have worked out with some really, really high level people, and I'm not going to beat Floyd Mayweather in a boxing match ever. Give me 100 tries, it ain't going to happen. And so, I don't see why anyone has interest in these really highly non-competitive matches.
So, say you go out, you beat Jake Paul, because I think it is a really competitive match.
I think it's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Say you go out and then the lights go dark and in comes Undertaker style, Logan Paul, his brother, and he's like, let's box.
Wait, so did they got heat or do they like each other? Because I've heard both things from people.
I think it's just kind of a brotherly thing. Like they like each other because they're brothers, but they're also, Jake is kind of stealing Logan's
someone's
thunder.
Girlfriend or something like that.
What?
Didn't that happen? That's what kids are telling me. I don't know this to be true.
Ben, I'm 30. I'm nowhere near a kid either, man. These guys are. I've never watched a Jake Paul, Logan Paul video, honestly.
Okay. Well, I heard that rumor, so I don't know if it's true or not.
Wouldn't doubt it. I mean, those guys kind of give off that kind of a vibe.
For sure.
Oh, goodness. So, are you boxing Logan Paul if he jumps in the ring and says, hey, let's set up something?
Yeah. I mean, another guy who's not a boxer, right? Again,
right.
So my wife we were watching Drago, our Rocky IV. She's like, what if you're boxing? It's kind of scary. I'm like, no, Amy, I'm not boxing Drago. Boxing every Jake Paul. He's a jabroni. He's a non-athlete wannabe fighter.
Man.
So it's one of those things. So yeah, I don't know. I would anticipate I'm gonna have a lot of fun with it, and I suppose I don't want to make a career of celebrity boxing or anything, but I suppose if I could do one more, right?
Yeah, why not? Just beat the whole family.
Beat up the whole family. Then I go to Ron Paul, Rand Paul, Chris Paul, all the Pauls.
So, you've seen, I'm sure you've seen him training with Masvidal, which you two go way back, obviously. I know you get tired of seeing the memes and stuff. I can't help but get a laugh every time. Oh, God damn it, Masvidal's fighting this week, and you just over it.
Yeah, it's so annoying.
I imagine it is. I mean, you've been highest highs and you've been needing the head, and it's you got the guts to get out there. But what's your take on him going to Masvidal? You think that's just selling wolf tickets?
It's one of those things. I mean, that's kind of his thing, is where he tries to get as much social media clout as he can by dealing with other people who have large social media followings, which George does, and they're both in that same area, right down there in Miami. So it makes sense.
Who is the worst UFC fighter you think Jake Paul could beat in a boxing match? Or do you think he beats all
Dylan
of them?
Dennis. That's why Dylan Dennis was scared of him.
Yeah, that's. I still want to see that. The trash talk alone would be really fun. Are you guys doing any press conferences?
I think we are. They have not told me when, but I do believe we are. Yes.
Cool. So,
Yeah, should
what
be
about
fun.
how's the hip feeling, man? You getting back to
It's
training on
great.
the hip? It's feeling
Yeah,
good.
it's really good. Yep, really, really good. Better than it was before.
Good. I'm happy to hear that because that's always a pain in the ass to come back. But your story, he was talking to Helwani about John Wayne Parr. I was like,
Yes.
he's a good point because John Wayne's banging again. It's crazy.
With his kicks and everything, right? Using the full hip.
Yeah, you don't have to
Crazy.
do none of that.
No.
So let's talk GameStop for a second. I know you're in on that.
I mean, obviously, I'm not. I don't think GameStop's a good company, but I bought some GameStop just to say F the man last week. Show some solidarity with my non-Wall Street brothers.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, Wall Street, they're babies. They're whining and crying because they lost one time. Like, OMG, you lost one time. Like, get over it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's long overdue though, because people need to understand that those guys are kind of they're crooks, honestly. I mean,
Crooks, yeah.
We're doing the exact same thing that they're doing. It's just they're losing and they're crying about it, and I'm not a fan of that.
I agree, totally.
What about crypto? What are you into besides that sweet Ray?
I mostly just do the basics. I go Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. I have a couple other small positions and a few other things. But I learned my lesson the hard way in 2017. I bought a bunch of other stuff, and it actually did well in the time period, and then it took a total crap. So I probably should have sold some of those at the top. But so now I stick with more of the main plays. Obviously, Ray would be the one that I took the time to understand the process, understand how it works, and so I'm all the way in on Ray. But a lot of the other stuff, it's like I just don't have time to dig in really, really, really deep on other things.
Right. It Ray's an interesting concept too because it's actually tied to something.
I think Martin's concept of the Ray token and whether you apply it to content creation or you could do it to something like Uber or Airbnb, those type of things. I literally think it can change the world. And when you truly understand the concept, you understand the power that it has.
Yeah, and I feel like we're sitting here gassing up Martin because this is going to be on Rockfin, but I mean he does got a good product there, and it's showing.
Absolutely.
When I joined, there was 5,000 subscribers, something like that. Now
when did you join? September, October?
It was like December, I believe, something like that. And it was like
so you just joined a month ago?
No. I'm sorry, no, it wasn't December. No, when was it? September, I think.
Yeah. September was about four. I think that's when we started to really some more adoption, and it's really taken off. I mean, we're in the mid 18,000s right now. It's really going very well.
When did Woodley get his ass whooped?
Oh, don't talk about that guy Tyron like that.
I'm sorry. When did
because that was Tyron lost?
That was when I joined. It was my first piece. I talked about Tyron Woodley on Rockfin. I like Tyron. I talk trash, but he's a good guy. Yeah. So wrestling. I'm from Louisiana.
Oh, really?
Yes. And
I can hear something southern in your voice.
We have zero wrestling here, and Missouri's kind of my team.
No, Louisiana. Oh, well, college, but there's high school wrestling in Louisiana.
The Frost kids are a beast. The Frost kids are, they just went and did well at Super 32. Nice. What's Mizzou looking like this year? Because I haven't been able to pay attention to it. Too much work for me. What's Missouri been looking like?
They have a good team, but it's really hard with this college wrestling season because, like for example, the Big Ten's only wrestling within the Big Ten, right? There's no tournaments. It's only dual meets, so just limited competition. But hey, we're getting there. We're getting through it. It looks very promising for the conference championships and NCAAs at this point. So yeah, very hopeful.
Do you think the Olympics go off this year?
I think so, yes.
Okay. Now, last question before I let you go.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Dake, Jordan Burroughs.
a tough one, right?
I know, man.
Um,
It is.
yeah, I have such a hard time. I mean, it's gonna be a nail biter. I think I would just lean Burrows until proven otherwise. I was starting to think Dake, but then the Dake Chamizo match was so close. And it's really for me, it's a coin flip. It's like about as even as it gets.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. But you look internationally and stuff, and Russia's no more because of the doping stuff. You look internationally, I think part of it is you got to see, who's the better wrestler, but who matches up better internationally with.
But that doesn't really matter. I mean, U.S. right? It's a wrestle off, so whoever wins wins, and that's kind of regardless of anyone else. I mean, and really, honestly, I know Burrows has lost to Sidakov, but I think if you're going betting odds, Burrows or Dake could be the favorite for 74 kilograms at that weight class.
I like JB. I like Kyle Dake, but I don't know, something about Jordan that's just really fun to watch. I want to see him go out and get another gold medal at least.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ben, I appreciate you coming on, man. Everybody
it.
knows your social media, but where can everybody find you?
Is at Ben Askren everywhere.
Fantastic. Funk Master.
Right.
I'm pulling
Thanks
for you,
a lot,
brother.
buddy.
Take it easy.